Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to another live stream here on the channel. Hopefully the mic's all good. I reconnected my webcam and my microphone because I was having issues with those two the last live stream I did. So hopefully it is still good. We'll figure out if the camera is good or not. It was purple before I started the stream. I turned it on and I looked completely purple. I was Thanos. Glad to see you here, Pete. Welcome to the stream, Pete. Welcome to the stream, Cruz, Caden, Cody, Proxy, Channel, and Tornadic Rebel, Kevin. We also have Western Ohio in here, Jason, Kenny, Aaron, and Cody. Everyone else who's in the stream who may not be chatting or I may have forgotten to welcome. Glad to have you in the stream. Let's switch over to our scene. Just make sure everything's good. I've been busy. I've been very, very busy off of the channel here. Welcome Legacy as well. Sorry, I missed you. I saw you say hi just a second ago. I've been really busy off of YouTube. You know, I took a good 4-day break or so. Really needed that. I had weather burnout. That's what I've been having here. I've also been very busy in real life, but just no motivation at all to live stream or make videos or do anything weather related. I took a break on all my social medias for 3-4 days or so. Yesterday I tweeted on Twitter for the first time in like 3 days or so. It's awesome. It's awesome having even if it's just a 3-day break. It's better than just consistently doing live streams every day, wearing myself out. So we're back at it. We're here with coverage today and coverage tomorrow. We'll be live for both of these events, both the one today that we're covering now, which did get upgraded to a enhanced risk, and the one tomorrow, which will probably also be upgraded to an enhanced risk by the time we get to the midday day one outlook. So right now we just have a very messy cluster of severe storms ongoing across portions of west central Minnesota, with a better chance for a tornado threat to develop out of this cluster over here, as opposed to this big blob in west central Minnesota. So we're going to continue to see these storms intensify over the next couple of hours. Currently, it's obviously 6:34 Eastern time right now. Probably going to see this event last all the way until at least 5, maybe 6 a.m. Eastern time. Both today and tomorrow's events are going to be very long duration. Storm's going to fire probably a bit earlier tomorrow. Storms will probably go up towards 3-4 o'clock tomorrow, whereas today they really didn't get going completely until about 5:30. You know, we had the tornado earlier this morning. Radar indicated PDS tornado warning. That moved through western Minnesota. We had these storms that fired in southern North Dakota earlier this afternoon. didn't get severe until around 2 p.m. and then they went back sub-severe and then went back re-severe towards 550. So really this stuff's been popping off in the last hour or so is when these storms have really started to intensify. You can see this is up to a tornado possible tag, 70-mile-an-hour winds, 1.25-inch hail. This is up to the same ordeal except for no tor possible tag. No severe warning yet on our storm out here towards Watertown. This still needs to get its act together here as it moves off to the east-southeast. So we're going to continue to watch that very closely to see how those mergers interact, how this storm can get its act together. And it is latched onto that outflow boundary. We have an outflow boundary that's in place right in here, and that is going to locally enhance the tornado environment and all hazards environment in front of these storms because they fired in a really, really good spot orientated to that boundary. You can see if we loop it here, it fires right on the east side, southeast side of that well-defined outflow boundary. And so it's just going to drag that boundary along with it, at least for the next couple minutes. We'll have to see if that boundary pushes in front of the storms. I doubt that's going to happen. If anything, I feel like these storms might end up leaving that boundary behind because, well, right now, both of them are slow. The storms are nearly stationary and the boundary is very slowly moving. So we'll see what happens. I feel like these might move far enough to the southeast to get in front of the boundary. We'll just see if we have any issues in terms of that boundary promoting more of a messy mode or a outflow dominant type mode for these particular storms. These storms have fired very early. They're about an hour and a half early. Wasn't supposed to fire till about 8 o'clock according to the HRRR. So those are definitely going to be big time hailers, 60 to 70 mile an hour winds. A brief tornado can't be ruled out, but I feel like our main tornado threat today is probably going to be focused around the Watertown, South Dakota area, around that region pointing off to the southeast. And outside the U.S., we are going to be watching Canada like a hawk. They have a very volatile environment today. Despite the, I believe it's environmental of Canada, there's actually a new tornado warning out there. First one of the day out in Canada. But they've gone with a SVA, Severe Thunderstorm Watch. Really should be a tornado watch, but they went with a SVA for some unknown reason. We could see a couple tornadoes out here, potentially even a long-tracked, strong to intense tornado out here in southwest Ontario, Canada. So we are going to be covering it, Canada out there as well. Not a lot of population, but hey, we're still going to cover it. Keep an eye on it. Should be a pretty notable day for people out there in southwestern Ontario. Potential for a tornado outbreak out there. So that's our best chance for tornadoes overall. Definitely, by far, is going to be southwestern Ontario, Canada. But also back out here in the U.S., we have a good chance for a few tornadoes out of this boundary interaction we're seeing here on the west side of our enhanced risk. Speaking of an enhanced risk, let's go over today's outlook for severe weather. We've got two very notable risks for severe weather today. We have our most notable one, enhanced risk level 3 out of 5. First enhanced risk in about 2 weeks. And the one we had 2 weeks ago was a complete bust. And the one before that was almost 3 weeks ago. So we have had a very limited amount of enhanced risks this July. Only 3 enhanced risks. One at the beginning, one towards July 15th, and then the one we have today. And we'll probably see another one tomorrow. So we'll probably close out July with 4 enhanced risks for severe weather. So yeah, today we have that level 3 out of 5 out there in Minnesota, eastern South Dakota. Barely avoids Wisconsin. I mean, we get right on the border of Wisconsin, but doesn't actually include anywhere in the state of Wisconsin for that level 3 out of 5 enhanced. And then we have another level 2 out of 5 slight risk back out here in Virginia, actually. Also southern Maryland and western, I believe that's actually still Maryland there. So Maryland, Virginia included in that slight risk for primarily damaging winds, verifying quite nicely at the moment. We've had a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings around the Richmond area in the last hour or so. Those are still ongoing at this moment. So that's your whole briefing on today's event in terms of the SPC outlook. Of course, we are going to dive much deeper into it. This is a coverage live stream, so we'll be here for probably at least 2-3 some hours, maybe even a little more than that. We'll just have to see if how long it's needed today. Tornado risk is a 5% chance, although, which is actually very strange. Severe thunderstorm watch. There you go. Are those supposed to be? Yeah, I normally have those as pink, right? That doesn't feel right for some reason. Okay, yeah, I think that's normal. That's how long it's been. I don't even know what color my severe watch is supposed to be. That's how long it's been. So we have a big 5% tornado risk today. I highly disagree with this from the get-go. Ever since it was issued, I was against it. I really don't think today should be a 5% risk. If there were to be a 5%, I would have put it right in here. I really don't even think today's worth a 5%. I think we could see a tornado or two, possibly a strong one, but it all comes down to boundary interactions and if we see an MCS, and both of those are conditional things. The MCS will probably be mainly damaging winds, and even if we do see that, which right now we have a very messy cluster, I really don't think it's going to be a big tornado maker type day today outside of Canada. Damaging winds, I agree with the issuance of that 30% risk for damaging winds there across Minnesota into eastern South Dakota. The hail risk, really agree with this. They've decided to upgrade this to a hatched hail risk today, likely a 30, wait, what? Not a 30, a 15 significant chance for significantly large hail greater than or around 2 inch in diameter. And this is what I was going to say. Probably going to see around 3 inch in diameter hail today. I mixed that up with a 30% hail risk and a 3 inch in diameter hailstone. I mixed those together. So we're looking at a 15 hatched hail risk with a chance for 3 to 3.5 inch hail today, depending on if we can see some good discrete storms fire out there in eastern South Dakota or southwestern / west central Minnesota for today's event. So overall, just to reiterate, a few tornadoes are likely today with the possibility of a strong tornado conditional in eastern South Dakota, southwestern Minnesota. The likelihood of 70 to 80 mile an hour winds today, and probably going to see anywhere from 2.5 to 3.5 inch in diameter hail being possible there in the enhanced risk area. And then, of course, back out there in Canada, we've got the risk for a couple tornadoes, possibly a strong tornado or two, one of which could be long tracked. Definitely going to have to watch out for some couplets here of rotation that may try to form over the next couple hours here. The good news is Canada's risk is staying very clustered and linear, kind of like the risk we're having here in the U.S. over Minnesota. But we should see the chance for at least some clustered storms here, and these are going to be able to try to put down some strong tornadoes. That is probably already attempting to put down a strong tornado there in southwestern Ontario. Classic supercell structure there with a mesocyclone, very evident there on radar. Now remember, we got lower definition radars here in Canada. However, they did upgrade all their radar sites, so at least they are a little bit higher definition compared to 2 years ago. So at least we have that, better than the terrible radars Canada used to have. So at least they upgraded it a bit. So we'll probably end up with a tornado on that storm. There is a tornado warning in effect on it. I don't know if they do that confirmed stuff. Actually, my bad. The tornado warning is in effect north of those prefrontal storms. So the tornado warning is in effect just for the potential of a spin-up tornado anywhere along this line here. But no tornado warning on this prefrontal storm, which is definitely the strongest rotation out in Canada right now. Very large warning. This is probably like, if you took this warning and put it in the US, it would probably be in like the top 5 for the biggest tornado warnings in the US. Whereas in Canada, this is like pretty much a normal sized warning. That's like pretty much a normal sized warning right there. But if you took that warning and put it in the US, it would be like a probably near a top 5 biggest warnings. Speaking of biggest warnings, we had I think it was the 9th biggest severe thunderstorm warning ever since 2003. I think it was since 2003. We had the 9th biggest severe thunderstorm warning since 2003 in Montana yesterday. I believe it was Montana. Big old severe thunderstorm warning. And I think it was the largest severe warning since 2020 or right around there. You know what? I will look at it. How about that? I bet I could find it. let's see. All right, I was right with that. It is the ninth largest severe thunderstorm warning since 2007. Since 2007, it is the actually eighth. Wrong about that too. So let's just reiterate all that. Forget everything I just said. In Montana, we had the eighth biggest severe thunderstorm warning since records began, at least for these types of severe warnings, back in 2007. And it is the largest severe thunderstorm warning ever since 2020. So the biggest severe warning in the last about 4 or 5 years, with the eighth largest severe warning ever since this type of warning was issued back in 2007. And that was in southeastern Montana yesterday. And that was a big warning. That was a big warning. That was a very, very big warning. It was severe thunderstorm warning 89, apparently. I'm guessing that's like severe warning 89 in that WFO, which was GGW. And actually, that weather service holds both the record, the seventh largest one, which was 2020, if you disclude yesterday, most recent one, and now the most recent one from yesterday. So they actually hold both of the 8th and the 7th record for the largest severe warning. The largest severe warning was apparently almost 40,000 square kilometers, issued back in 2009. First and second place was both back in 2009, July 9th. Doesn't surprise me that the biggest warnings are normally in Montana. I think, let's see. Yeah, I thought so. BISWFO is Bismarck, North Dakota. But yeah, just wanted to mention we broke the record there. We got the 8th largest severe one. Yeah, 8th. The 8th one, yeah. It was either 8th or 9th. Sometimes this information is pretty difficult to find. You have to put in specific settings. So it was either the 8th or the 9th biggest one. Point being, it was a big old severe thunderstorm warning that we had yesterday. One of the biggest since 2020. That's the point. I can't get the exact numbers on it because, like I said, it's actually a lot more difficult than you think. IEMBot is the best place to find that information, and even then, it's still pretty hard to input the data there. 70-mile-an-hour winds observed here on this storm going towards New London in central. This is almost dead central Minnesota here. So make sure you are indoors, away from doors and windows. Probably want to be in your safe spot, honestly. It would be a very good idea to get to your safe spot if you are around this severe thunderstorm warning here. Just for anyone wondering, this is corruption. There's not actually 90 to 95 mile an hour winds with this storm. We're looking really far up into the atmosphere. Which actually brings me to something else, a little off topic again. But earlier today, we had that radar indicated PDS tornado warning. So what happened was they issued the tornado warning. It got upgraded to an observed tornado warning because law enforcement reported a tornado. And then after that, the tornado lifted. They issued a radar indicated PDS tornado warning, meaning a tornado was already on the ground and a strong tornado could develop at any moment. It was based off of radar. And we talk about corruption all the time. They issued a radar indicated PDS tornado warning from a radar site that's beam was scanning about 11,000 to 12,000 feet up into the atmosphere. That radar data is very inaccurate. I don't know why they issued a radar indicated PDS tornado warning earlier today, because I doubt the rotation was anywhere close to that. So, you know, just another weird moment in 2025. Hey, at least it wasn't not even close to as bad as the radar indicated tornado warning that didn't even have a tornado back in Southeast PA earlier this year. Was that in June? I think that was in June. I think that was late June. think it was around my birthday. I think it was literally around my birthday about a month ago. But anyways, this storm near Watertown is starting to increase in rotation. So if you are near Watertown here in what is this, northeastern? Yeah, northeastern / east central South Dakota. This storm's likely going to attempt to put down a tornado here over the next hour or so as it moves off to the southeast. It's attached to that outflow boundary. It's in a potentially, could consider it a volatile environment because of that boundary. Now, without that boundary, it's a garbage environment. But that boundary really helps to crank lower level vorticity. And this is in like the best environment here in the really through the entire risk area. I mean, really, this is in the best environment we have. A lot of lower level veering with height. Lower level wind shear isn't that strong. We only have about 60 to 70 0 to 1 kilometer SRH, but that boundary is really gonna help crank the lower level amount of rotation that this storm is going to be able to try to produce. So we'll see. I'm sure it's going to rotate, if not already is rotating. But if it can take that area of rotation and actually start to develop a tornado, we'll see. We'll see about that. But definitely a pretty strong supercell in a very good environment, debatably volatile environment. One of the best environments we have here in the U.S. at the moment for a tornado. I mean, you're at almost 7,000 instability. So really, really good. I would not be shocked if this is really rotating. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's got a huge funnel. It's got a big old funnel cloud with it. This is actively trying to put down a tornado. This is about to put down a tornado. So it's already taken that lower level amount of rotation I was talking about, lower level wind shear. It's already put it into rotation, and it's already developed a funnel, and it's minutes, if not seconds, away from putting down a tornado. We'll see if it actually can. A lot of the times, funnel clouds aren't actually going to be able to put down tornadoes. So a lot of the times, even if there's a funnel reported, you may not even get a tornado warning. Especially with cold air funnels. Cold air funnels rarely get tornado warnings. But I wouldn't be shocked if this produces a tornado very, very soon. Looks like that funnel is back up. And this is probably going to happen multiple times. It's going to put a funnel halfway to the ground, goes back up halfway to the... Yeah, that needs a tornado warning. All right. Yeah, that is... yeah. That needs a tornado warning right now. There ain't no way... You know, this is going to try its hardest to put down a tornado. You know, sometimes you can get a cold air funnel, or just a funnel that's, you know, obviously not going to put down a tornado. Cold air funnels, I believe, don't put down tornadoes often whatsoever. A lot of them are just tiny little funnel clouds that you can barely even tell the difference between a funnel and scud. But this was a big fat funnel cloud that was very close to putting down a tornado already, and will probably end up putting down a tornado here over the next few minutes. So, again, if you are in Watertown, surrounding areas, Henry, there you go. There's your tornado warning. I was going to say about Henry to Watertown, you want to make sure you're in your safe spot. So they were already making that tornado warning before this radar scan came in. Because that radar scan came in literally like 60 seconds ago. So they were already actively making that tornado warning as we got that new radar scan. WNWS right there. You'd be surprised how many National Weather Services hold off on those types of tornado warnings. We've seen it a lot this year. So, the National Weather Service out here in Aberdeen has issued a tornado warning for this area. Really good idea, because I think this has a very high chance to drop a tornado here over the next few minutes. Yeah, this is South Dakota. Apologies in advance if I call this North Dakota, because I probably will. I probably will. Is that another funnel right there? This thing's a huge rotating base. This thing is trying its best to already plant a tornado. So, again, if you're on the west side of Watertown here, North Shore, this is going right for downtown Watertown. So, Watertown, if you are not in the tornado warning, you need to just make sure that you are hyper weather aware, watching this like a hawk. Make sure you know where your tornado shelter is. Make sure your family's aware that there is the possibility for a tornado to move around the town of Watertown, South Dakota. And just keep a very close eye on it. If you're in the tornado warning here, if you're in the Watertown Regional Airport area, North Shore, back towards just east of Henry, in east central South Dakota here near Watertown, you need to be in your safe spot. So if you're in the tornado warning, run to your safe spot. This is likely producing about to, or possibly already producing, a tornado. And then if you're not in that tornado warning, make sure that everyone knows, okay, this is on the ground now. Yeah, there's a large tornado already on the ground. So this is a tornado ongoing, heading towards Watertown, South Dakota, potentially even already a strong tornado, lofting debris into the atmosphere now. So there is now a tornado on the ground, a large, potentially strong tornado on the ground here, just where these two roads intersect between 23 and 8, moving off to the southeast. This is going to go very close to North Shore, and then eventually head into the west side of Watertown here in South Dakota. It is not a fully condensed tornado. So what it looks like right now, to draw you, just to give you an image of it, this is like the cloud tops here. This is the ground. So that white line at the top, that's cloud. White line at the bottom, that's the ground. So you have a big, big funnel like this. It's a huge top base to it. There is nothing in the middle, and then it's got debris all at the bottom. So it is a large tornado that is not fully condensed, with a lot of dirt that is being picked up at the bottom. Now, if it does consolidate, it's probably not going to be nearly that large. Matter of fact, it's already gotten a lot smaller. It looks like it's lifted, but it's not lifted just yet. It's putting down multiple little vortices. Those vortices are definitely strong. Strong vortices with this tornado. For a split second there, it stopped lofting any debris, and then a second later, it started putting down another vortex. So, still a tornado on the ground, trying its best to fully consolidate. This thing is getting to a large tornado and trying to fully consolidate. It is almost fully consolidated. And there you go. It's fully consolidated. So it is now a normal looking stovepipe tornado. A new tornado warning out here in Minnesota. Radar indicated tornado warning there. So potential for a tornado to drop here going towards Grove City and Forest City. If you are in Minnesota, get to your safe spot. This is now a particularly dangerous situation. So this is now a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado that is on the ground. You're in a life-threatening situation if you are in the town, the west side town of Watertown, South Dakota. This is a particularly dangerous situation. A large and extremely dangerous confirmed strong tornado has been observed just to your northwest. You are in a life-threatening situation. Nearly a stationary tornado. Now, it's not moving that much, but yeah, it is a very strong to intense tornado right now. Very strong to intense tornado. Dude, this thing is ripping. This thing is very intense. That is likely a violent tornado. This is probably a violent tornado on the ground right here. That motion is insane. radar does not correlate with the motion that tornado has. That tornado is ripping, dude. So intense to possibly even a violent tornado here. That thing is just, that is a crazy. Jeez. Definitely a strong to intense tornado. Possibly even a violent tornado here. So just to give you an idea of where this is, again, let's just go back to weather-wise here. Go back to the radar site. Weather-wise shows a lot tighter couplet. Definitely a lot tighter couplet here on weather-wise compared to GR2 Analysis's radar software there. But yeah, this tornado is located like right here on 168th Street, right in this area. It's right in this area is where this tornado is currently located. Zoom that out, and it's moving to the southeast. It's very slow. It's almost, I mean, it's nearly stationary. Very slowly moving off to the southeast, just like this. So it's eventually, hopefully won't still be on the ground, but eventually it is going to make it here very close to just to the west-southwest of Watertown Regional Airport here in probably about 20 to 30 minutes. Very, very strong to intense tornado. Not as crazy motion as what it was there just a moment ago. Some of those vortices are still possibly even violent because, I mean, they are ripping. Very, very strong to intense tornado. Doesn't look like it's weakened a bit. It doesn't look like it's as consolidated there. But it still has some vortices that are, you know, intense to possibly even pushing violent there. Is that car not way too freaking close? Like, that car is... If there is the tiniest little shift... And he's outside of his car. Dude, you are insane. This dude is outside of his car, like, literally 30 to 50 feet away from this tornado. That was way too close. Wow, yeah, it's back to a strong tornado, at least a strong tornado. I'm curious to see what it's going to do when it gets towards these trees, because you could see the inflow of that tornado. Like, that is insanely intense. Holy moly. So still a... yeah, there's your debris ball. I believe that's going to be your debris ball. I don't see why that wouldn't be your debris ball. Hold on, let's go back to GR2. Holy crap! What did it just get? This thing is crazy. What did it just rip? What was that? It just absolutely destroyed something. Yeah, this is a violent tornado, dude. It re-intensified after it crossed the road. Yeah, that's your CC. Your hook echo is displaced and it looks very, very weird. This is a violent tornado. That was whatever it tore up. Hopefully it was just trees. I mean, I didn't really see a building out there. Dude. Yeah, definitely an intense to violent tornado. There is a bunch of debris now inside of this tornado. It used to be a pretty clear white tornado. It is just full of dirt and debris now. So, violent tornado on the ground here. That's 130 mile an hour rotation, which is significantly tighter than the last two. Actually, the last entire scans. That's the tightest it's been. Wow, that debris is insane. It's still very slowly, very, very slowly. Like, this is the last 10. Let's see. Yeah, this is the last 10 minutes. From this frame to this frame, that's 10 minutes, and it's barely moved. It is barely moving. Still very strong area of rotation. Big debris ball there. Dude, that is the most violent tornado in a long time. We didn't have anything like this in June, did we? I'm trying to think. Oh, that wedge in West Texas. Ever since that wedge in West Texas, I remember that. Crossed the border of New Mexico, Texas, and then went for like a near hour-long tornado. Gary tornado. Um, was that this month? Why don't I remember the Gary tornado that much? What day was that? Was I live for that at all? I don't really recognize that, honestly. Probably a reflectivity debris ball right there. Eh, Kenny, I don't, I think this was worse than the motion on that. I think was actually worse than Gary. I'm watching footage of the Gary tornado right now. Are you talking about, was it a stovepipe? Like a pretty much perfect symmetrical stovepipe? Oh, here's good footage of it. Hold on. Hold on, I got good footage of it right here. Okay. It's still, I mean, just the. I think this had vortices stronger than Gary. Oh, Gary had some crazy vortices though. Look at that. I think it was just about the same as Gary because the way both of these vortices were like they looked nearly the same. Both of them had very intense vortices. I don't know, dude. I think this might have been more violent than Gary, honestly. I was live for it. Yeah, that's completely slipped my mind. I don't know if I was live for it because I don't remember that at all. I don't remember watching that live. Then again, I don't have good memory, so. Oh, another tornado warning back out there in Minnesota. Another another tornado warning there for Richmond, Cold Spring, Rockville in Minnesota being your safe spot there as well. So still a violent tornado on the ground. Looks like it's starting to rope out to me. So what's left of a violent tornado is still on the ground here, northwest of Watertown. That newest scan, man. I mean, it still shows at least it being intense. I think this was neck and neck between Gary, but definitely the most violent tornado since Gary, if not even since that tornado West Texas in June. It had violent vortices just like Gary. I don't know, dude, because when that crossed the road, just how it looked like when it crossed the road about 7 minutes ago, like that was a fully condensed violent tornado. That wasn't like just a vortice or two that was violent, which is what it looked like for the Gary tornado, at least to me. Like this was a fully consolidated violent tornado after it crossed the road. Before it crossed the road, it had the few violent vortices, and then after it crossed the road, it just went crazy violent. And it is still on the ground. I do think it is substantially weaker now. Still strong tornado on the ground. Radar not doing a good job at showing exactly where it is, but it is still on the ground, and it is still a strong tornado. It should be about in... I know I'm switching between a lot. It should be right about here. It looks violent again. Am I the only one who thinks that looks violent again? It's not even on radar, and this footage literally looks violent again. Dude. Oh my goodness. Dude, that is insane. I think that is still I think that's still violent. Maybe it's just gonna disappear out of nowhere, but right now it's like a almost stationary, in my opinion, violent rope. Wow. Like you could just tell from that motion it's intense to violent still. Radar does not even close to correlate the intensity. I'm watching Connor. We may not work together, but he's still one of the best chasers out there. I'm going to watch his feed as long as he's chasing. Oh, Connor just said it was more violent than Gary. I still think that's a violent... Look at that motion. Well, Kenny, you said, could we see Gary again? And I said I'd find it very difficult to see Gary again, but, well, there you go. We just had, Gary, but stronger. Oh, it's like a knot tornado now. It's got a little knot in the middle of it. Okay, it looks like it's a lot weaker. Still a strong tornado. Dude, it's a side... It's got like a side condensation to it now. Oh, is it going? Is it gonna go? It's hanging on. It is hanging on for dear life. It's still on the ground right here. Moving off to about generally to the east-southeast. Ooh, looks like it's moving almost due south now. So actually, it's moving more like this. But it's gonna die before it moves that far to the south. It's gonna die out before it gets much further here. It's still on the ground. It is still a tornado on the ground. Right here, moving almost due south. Yep. I told you. I knew it was an easy target area. Watertown was easy. Very easy target area. Outflow boundary, high cape. No cloud cover. I didn't think it would be, I thought... I wasn't thinking violent tornado today. Connor was, so... Connor was right. Connor called out the potential for a intense to violent tornado if something could fire on the outflow boundary. And, well, what do you know? There you go. Connor called it out, and he was right. I was wrong. Because this was definitely a lot stronger than a strong tornado. That was definitely intense to violent. It is still on the ground. It is still a rope on the ground here. Hanging on for dear life. It's one of those tornadoes that won't let go. Actually, a little bit, and I mean a little bit tighter on that newest scan for rotation. It hit a lot of trees, and I'm guessing it might have hit like an outhouse building or something, because once it crossed that road, Connor had footage of, like, it absolutely tore something up. Something got absolutely tore up. And I don't think it was like a... It ripped up something. And that was about 12 minutes ago. 13 minutes ago. Dude. I don't know if it hit any homes or anything. But definitely hit trees and possibly a outhouse building or something. Looks like it's lifted. I still see debris left. But it doesn't look like that debris is, like, rotating much with an actual tornado. I think it's lifted. It just looks like fallout to me now. Connor just said big wall cloud cycling off to the east. So we're probably going to start to see a new area of rotation here. Tried to develop right on where that outflow boundary is, which is right in here. Probably going to try to redevelop another tornado very close to Watertown here shortly. Or here in about 10 to 15 minutes, I should say. It should take at least a little time to recycle. Yeah, I wasn't live for the Gary tornado. I don't know what day that was, but I was probably not home. Not often do I miss tornadoes like that. There's a very high chance something was stopping me from streaming. There we go. All right, tornado warning still continues for Forest City. June 28th. Yes, I wasn't live on that day. Where was I? I don't know where I was. That was almost a month ago. All right, let's see what this is doing. Yeah, so we're still getting a little area of rotation trying to come together here near Watertown, South Dakota. Just continue to be in your safe spot there. If you're in that tornado warning, it's not for a complete downtown Watertown just yet. It's not for downtown Watertown yet. It's still on the west side. But if you're in Watertown, you should just get to your safe spot. Because this is going to try to produce a tornado close to you anyways, so. So just, in my opinion, if you are in Watertown, still get to your safe spot. Make sure you're in your safe spot if you're in the tornado warning, and even if you're outside the tornado warning here towards Watertown, I recommend getting to your safe spot because this is going to be heading your way, and you will probably be put into a new tornado warning. Let me see if I can find this. I'm trying to figure out why I wasn't live on the 28th. I don't know. I have no idea. I forgot. Welcome to the stream, Bond. Nope, not ending anytime soon. We chilling here for a while. Actually have time to do a good amount of streaming today. Alright, you know what, actually, that has just been downgraded to no tornado warning. So we are actually back to just radar indicated tornado warnings out there in central Minnesota. There's actually no tornado warning in effect on this storm in Watertown. So you could come out of your safe spot. Honestly, I would just still stay in my safe spot. I would not mess around with this storm. If this was heading towards me and I lived in Watertown, I would be in my safe spot. This could still produce 60 to 70 mile-an-hour winds, 2-inch hail, and we could easily see another tornado try to drop out of this here in the next 10 to 15 minutes. If not even longer than that, because this is attached to the outflow boundaries, so this could go for a lot longer than 10 to 15 minutes. There is another wall cloud forming with this storm. And we'll keep an eye on velocity. It looks like the hook echo is having some problems with additional storm development around it. So I'm surprised we don't have another tornado warning here for Watertown, because this thing could spin up very quickly. I looked away from Canada for like 30 minutes, and we've got 4 tornado warnings spanning like pretty much the size of South Dakota. Like, those are huge tornado warnings. Huge tornado warnings in place there. How many Rhode Islands is that? Hold on. We gotta compare this to Rhode Island again. So 40 north to south and 25 west to east. So from west to east, it's about 150. So that's like, what? 6 Rhode Islands that way. And then 4 Rhode Islands from north to south. So this thing's literally 4 Rhode Islands large for all these tornado warnings. And a lot of these are probably producing tornadoes. This is likely trying to produce a tornado, if not already producing a tornado here in southwest Ontario. Oh wow. Very classic hook echo right there. Very classic hook echo there. Likely trying to or already putting down a tornado. Another one down here. Still broad, but another one up there. Another one down here. Another one down here. And these are your prefrontals. So if we just go, let's go to weatherwise real quick. Weatherwise, hopefully they'll add Canada warnings pretty soon. But we have one there trying to drop a tornado possibly on the ground. Another one there. This is all in Canada. A very broad one attempting to rotate, but not producing it. Likely not producing a tornado at the moment, but could in the future. Another one here. Another one here, and then a developing one back down in here. So we have an area of rotation starting, an area of rotation trying to, if not producing a tornado, area of rotation trying to, if not producing a tornado. Another area of rotation trying to, if not already producing a tornado. Another area of rotation trying to, if not already producing a tornado. And then a broad area of weak rotation trying to strengthen. So, yep, definitely performing how I was thinking of. Not SVA watch. It should not have been an SVA watch. This definitely should have been a tornado watch. And this is all in Southwest Ontario, Canada right now. As for the US, we'll go back to the US. Back towards Watertown, South Dakota. Probably seeing another area of rotation trying to get its act back together. Possibly even that little area there west of Watertown. These tornado warnings, both still in effect. The southern one for 4 more minutes, northern one for 19 minutes. Make sure you're in your safe spot there if you're in any of those tornado warnings. We did have another beep, but I think that was... Yeah, they updated one of these tornado warnings. Okay, they took out Cold Spring and Eden Valley, no longer in that tornado warning. For Canada, yes, I use Radar Omega because that's the only radar software that I know that I have that has Canada warnings. But weather-wise is easily go-to. Weather-wise, GR2 analysis, and the occasional Radar Omega. Radar Omega is my least used now. Looks like this is really trying to get its act back together here. We'll continue to watch that closely. Tagged me in something. Let's go see. Ah, man, it did hit home. We didn't find anyone in this house, hoping they weren't home at the time. Yep, that's most walls collapsed there too. Dude. Really bad damage there. That might have been... I wonder if that's that outhouse I was originally thinking was an outhouse. Wonder if it wasn't an outhouse and it was that home as the tornado crossed the road in front of Connor. It had pretty violent motion there at that point. All right, let's go back up to Canada. See what we have here. Northern one is looks still very broad. Very broad on the northern one. Huge area of rotation there trying to produce a tornado. None of these look like extremely crazy. I think this one probably looks the best right now. But that easily could be corruption. None of these are like very, very strong. There's still like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 areas to watch here for the potential of tornadoes. On the ground again, according to a chaser. I mean, considering I'm watching a live feed right now and there's no tornado, I don't think it's on the ground. But maybe the other person has a better visual of it somehow. Still trying to get its act together here, just west of Watertown. No tornado warning. This is not tornado wind anymore. And so just a heads up, you're not technically required to get to your safe spot here. if you are if you're in this severe thunderstorm warning, because there's no tornado warning with this at the moment. So hopefully that changes though, because this is very likely going to be very close to producing a tornado here in the next couple minutes. Really needs a tornado warning. So we only have one tornado warning left, and it's the one over Watkins with no area of rotation anymore. So if you're in Watkins, Minnesota, be in your safe spot. Although, to ease some anxiety, I will say it's probably not producing a tornado anytime soon. And then 60 to possibly as high as 70 mile per hour winds here, moving through Kingston, French Lake, Maple Lake in central Minnesota over the next couple minutes. Our strongest storm right now is a storm going towards Watertown. There is 2-inch hail possible with this, so I recommend being close to your safe spot. If you're anywhere in this yellow big polygon here, be close to your safe spot. And honestly, like I said before, if I'm in Watertown, personally, I'm seeking shelter. Even though there's not a tornado warning, I really would just be seeking shelter just in case. If I were in Watertown and this storm were heading towards me, I would be in my safe spot. Because it's better to be cautious, better safe than sorry. Especially with a storm that has a history of producing a violent tornado, so... Yeah, I don't see it on the ground. I still see a weak area of rotation. No clear-cut wall cloud anymore, though. So that area of rotation possibly broke up on the last few frames. Very quickly could get its act back together. It's still attached to that boundary. It is still in a very favorable environment. Let's see the environment real quick. Let's see. Yep, still going into the most favorable environment. As long as it doesn't head towards... Well, it can't. I was going to say as long as it doesn't head towards up here, but that's where our cool pool is. Our cool pool is up here. That's not where it's really heading. It's heading this way, like this. So it's really not going to get anywhere close to the cool pool up there. Cold Springs, let's see. Minnesota, I'm assuming you're talking about, because that's the main area in the risk, or the main cold spring in the risk area. A lot of lightning around you, so you don't want to be outdoors. Heavy rain, maybe some gusty winds of like 20 miles per hour when it rule out a gust of wind, but overall the worst of this is staying to your south at the moment. We've had at least 2 or 3 attempts of a tornado to your south, and then a lot of 60 to 70 mile an hour wind gusts from this storm. So the worst of it is staying barely off to your south right now. Go check Canada again. We got a new scan in. Okay, those prefrontals look a lot worse now. Still little areas of velocities with them, but nothing like tight or, in my opinion, tornadic. Still, some QLCS tornadoes could develop here. This is in Southwest Ontario, Canada. I just noticed my browser source went down again. And this is probably not tornadic anymore, so... Really, there's only 2 main areas to watch now with these storms in Canada. Viper HD. I don't know if I've used that one before. Let me see. I'm trying to think of a site here. Okay, yeah. I can't believe I remembered that. Viper HD. That might be the one I'm using. I think that's the one I'm using. That might be literally... That's my old color table. That's why I recognize that. I think the one I have is just HD. But yeah, Viper HD is really, really good too. One of my first custom color tables that I got was a terrible one. I'm not going to mention it because I don't want to offend anybody. But just know it was not a good color table. All right, let's see. Still at 1 tornado warning. You gotta wonder if this is actually corruption. Yeah, it's crossing my mind here. I know it's warned for 60 mile-an-hour winds, radar indicated, but when you have a consistent signal of like 80 mile-an-hour velocities like that, you really gotta wonder how much of that can be corruption, right? Because it's been consistent for the supercell's lifespan at this point. I wouldn't be shocked. I don't think there's 90 mile-an-hour winds here, but I wouldn't be surprised with 70 mile-an-hour wind gusts in this area. Wouldn't surprise me if there's 70 mile-an-hour winds in this region moving off to the southeast towards Howard Lake. Only significant severe at the moment is the Watertown severe. And honestly, I think that I'm going to completely say that I was in the dead wrong here, and removing that tornado warning was actually a good call. I will gladly admit that I was dead wrong, and this storm does not look as tornadic as it did literally 5-10 minutes ago. It's not behind the outflow boundary, clearly, so it's still going to be able to attempt to produce a tornado in the future, but I don't think it is imminent, which is what a tornado warning stands for. They are keeping that Tor possible tag, which means you need to be very close to your safe spot. If it gets rough, obviously go to your safe spot. So this storm could warrant a tornado warning again in the future if it starts to rotate a bit more. And I think a big role in that is going to be if it gets involved in this cluster here, which already looks like it's starting to have some issues there. My overlay's having some issues too. But speaking of issues, I haven't refreshed that at all in this stream. There you go. Hopefully that helps it a little bit. So this might end up being more ingested into the cluster, which will prevent it from being all by itself and really taking advantage of that environment. Let's see, what HRRR run we at? 22Z? Yeah, HRRR wants this to go very clustered, like in 30 minutes it's all a cluster, which looks like it's going to happen, honestly. It looks like that's going to happen, because this stuff's almost completely connected, and this stuff's getting close to connected. We do have to watch out for some supercell development back here. I would not rule out a tornado back out in this area in South Dakota if we could get a good supercell to get going down in here, but I don't know if that's going to happen. What about that little guy right there? Keep an eye on that little guy, but I do think there's a chance that we see a brief spin up back out somewhere in this area along our main cold front. The thing is, none of these will have a boundary to work with. I don't think we're going to see any boundaries attached to any of these storms. I don't think it'll be anything like the tornado we had near Watertown, but I just wouldn't rule out a quick spin-up tornado, whether it be a land spout or an actual, mesocyclone tornado. The only thing I could guess with this Watertown storm is the boundary is not well attached. So I mentioned very early in the stream that this fired in like the perfect spot. It fired on the end of a very well-defined outflow boundary. Go to our GR2. You could see that boundary was attached the entire duration to that hook echo. And then right about here, we had additional convection fire behind the main hook. And ever since then, it is not recovered. And now I want to say the outflow boundary is probably about to surge in front of this storm. So this storm, we'll give it a couple more minutes, but there is a chance this is completely done with anything tornadic here. We'll give it a couple more minutes here, see what it does with this rain shower merger, but if it can, if that outflow boundary can get in front of this supercell, it will force it to go more elevated. Go back here. There we go. Let's go check back up on Canada again. We do have a new scan. All the prefrontals staying weak with rotation. Really don't see anything concerning anymore up here. We'll have to watch this rear inflow jet. Very clear rear inflow jet here. Very clear surging of winds right in this area. Not only is that going to enhance the potential for a spin-up tornado, but it's also going to enhance the potential for 80 to 90 mile an hour winds. And I think you can see when it first started to surge out right here, you can see that tiny little hook echo. Next frame, pretty big hook echo. Next frame, really big hook echo. Next frame, okay, we're starting to lose that hook echo a little bit. It's starting to surge out a lot, still pretty good. The frame from about 6-ish minutes ago, okay, we've really lost our hook. And then the frame from like 2 minutes ago, there's really no longer a hook echo here. So I think the tornado potential with this has died down substantially, but it could still produce 70 to 80 mile an hour wind gusts. What are these velocities? Yeah, these are about 75 to 80 mile an hour velocities in this general proximity right in here. So you could look at 70 to 80 mile an hour winds. There's that new frame, shows velocities peaking of 80, almost 88. This is weather-wise. But yes, I use GR2. I use GR2 a lot more for what it's known for. It's GR2 analysis. I use it a lot when it comes to figuring out what is a tornado, what's not a tornado on radar in terms of CC. And also in terms of like 3D views. But mainly it's for analysis. Mainly I do it to see how strong a tornado is or if it is a debris signature or not. That's mainly what I use it for. And then to quickly switch between radar sites, like I do very frequently, I use weatherwise. And then if I have to, sometimes for like Canada, I'll use radar Omega to see the warnings up there. And then occasionally I'll accidentally use radar Omega out of habit. But I've started to switch. Really, everything's weatherwise until we're talking about tornadoes on the ground, and then it's GR2 analysis. For instance, like if we have a moderate or a high risk and we have a bunch of tornado warnings, most of that stream I'm going to be using GR2 analysis. Let's see. Yeah, so we're going to keep watching this storm in Watertown, South Dakota. But it's looking a lot a lot worse. It doesn't look as Supercell-like. Bond, I can already get him. But thank you for the offer. Should use radar scope. I use it every single chase. I don't use it on stream because it's not like extremely appealing and not extremely fast, but yeah, I use radar scope every single live stream for chasing. Any chasing streams I do, or if I'm just chasing or anything like that, I use radar scope. And on my phone, radar scope. Radar scope's #1 on my phone. Second is weatherwise, and then the rarely opened is Radar Omega. I only open Radar Omega like once or twice a month on my phone. Radar Scope is daily on my phone, and then on my computer, I do have it. It's just like I said, it's not overly appealing, and it's not like very fast. It's still really good though. It's still really good. All right, no longer any tornado warnings in place, so we are down to normal severes, aside from our storm in Watertown, which is still actually now observed 2-inch hail. I believe that was radar indicated before. It's now been changed and upgraded to an observed. You're kidding. Observed 2-inch hail. Well, remember when I said there was no longer any tornado warnings? Scratch that. We got a new tornado warning. Maple Lake, Buffalo, Annandale, towards the Albertville, Hanover, Greenfield, Rockford, all in a tornado warning. I really don't see what is being warned there. Are you kidding? Yo. Now we got another one. Watertown back in a tornado warning. We just got 2 tornado warnings in like the last 2 minutes. Right after I said there's now no tornado warnings. And we got one out there in Minnesota, and now we got our Watertown storm back warned. So there you go. I don't really see anything crazy with this, but it could try to produce a tornado again in the future. I am honestly quite surprised they rewarned that right now. And then with this storm, I really don't see anything here. I don't know what they warned. Let's see. 9 miles northwest. Let me go see that again. 9 miles northwest of Buffalo. Yeah, so that's right on the edge. Yeah, that's like 5-6 miles there. That's 8 miles. And then right up here is like 9-10 miles. So it's like almost over Maple Lake. Right in here is the apparent area of rotation. I really don't see anything there personally. This storm in Watertown, I mean, on radar, that looks really good. But you got to remember, how far are we looking up now? Okay, not horrible. 6,200 feet up into the atmosphere is what our beam is scanning at. That's not insane. But the bigger issue here is where our radar is. Radar right here at that X, and we are scanning through the 2-inch hail core to get to the area of rotation. So there's a very high likelihood that everything in here is all corrupted, and this includes our area of presumed rotation. Anything in this area is going to be corrupted. Because that's like a perfect corrupted scan there for your hail core. Because your biggest hail is probably falling right in this area, and your radar beam is scanning right through here. So, personally, you know, I don't think that radar scan's very accurate, but make sure you're in your safe spot because obviously, just because the radar doesn't have or doesn't have a crazy area of rotation doesn't mean it's not producing a tornado. We could very easily get a tornado out of this storm over the next couple minutes. Yeah, if it strengthens. I think it needs to strengthen more though. Still see that rear inflow right in here. Very obvious. That's why you have that enhancement of 80-mile-an-hour winds right in here. Back into Canada, Southwest Ontario. Still prefrontal's not doing anything crazy. Little regions of rotation, but nothing absurd. I don't think we have anything on the ground out here in Canada. If we do, I wouldn't know where, because really outside of that area I have circled, there's really no good area of rotation. Very corrupted, but that looks better, that looks like a legit area of rotation. It's just hard to say, why didn't that part delete? Why didn't the end of my arrow delete? Delete. See that? I guess that's just going to stay there forever. It looks a little bit more legit. It's not in the perfect placement. If it was a little bit more south down in here where that area of rotation is, as opposed to up in here, I would say it's, a lot more legit, but that's probably a good placement for where the mid-level cyclone is. This isn't towards the ground. Remember, we're close to 6,500 feet up into the atmosphere here with this beam, so looks like it's rotating at least good enough. I'm rusty with my live streams. I've messed up English a lot in this stream. English difficult. That's what happens when you take a break. That's exactly what happens when you take a break. Still, it's still there. It's just broad. Very broad. Your Englishing is just fine. Thank you, Pete. I still do think this is capable of producing a tornado in the future here. It's obviously now tornado warned, but yeah, we'll need to watch that for a while longer. It doesn't seem like it's fully attached to that big cluster yet, but it's gotten a lot weirder looking. I mean, it doesn't look like it's classic supercell like it did in about an hour ago. And then this storm in Buffalo, I mean, we're scanning about 2,000 feet up here. I don't know why that's warned, personally. I don't see anything with that at all. The one in Watertown, I still think that could be corruption, but, definitely a good idea to reissue that tornado warning now. They issued it like 6 minutes ago when that rotation wasn't very tight. I mean, that's the scan that warranted them to issue the tornado warning. And, that's very, very bad rotation. And then in the next following scans, it looked a little bit better, but it's still, it's not very tight. Not very tight. We're looking high up. Probably corrupted. Hello, Lucy. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, that boundary has been left behind. So the boundary is not going to help it become tornadic in the future, but it won't hurt it. So about like 20 minutes ago, we were talking about that boundary surging in front of the hook echo, and that would cut off the hook echo's inflow, thus making the storm outflow dominant and more elevated characteristics. And the reason why we saw a violent tornado earlier is because that boundary attached to the hook echo. So if you have a boundary attached to the hook echo, that's greatly going to increase the potential for a tornado most of the time. Now, sometimes it doesn't, but most of the time it does. If that boundary surges in front of the hook echo, that's going to turn it outflow dominant, turn it into more of a wind threat, and depending on the environment, could be a hail threat too. And if that outflow boundary just starts to stay behind, now it's behind that main hook echo, it's still behind the main rotating part of our storm, it's probably not going to affect it much. It's probably going to stay as big time hail, 60, 70 mile an hour winds, but that tornado threat could struggle a little bit more because it doesn't have the boundary attached to the hook echo. Good morning, Caleb. Just woke up, I see. Liam, Minneapolis. I mean, yeah, you could just give him a heads up, say, hey, there's a chance for lightning, heavy rain, some gusty winds here in about an hour or so. Depends on exactly where it lives. If he's further south, it's going to be a whole lot longer than an hour. If he's up towards like Brooklyn Park, Rapids, it's going to be about an hour and a half or so, maybe a little less than an hour and a half. Anything for me next week? Haven't had anything but heat. I'm sure you're enjoying the heat indexes of 110, 115 over the last week or two. Sure, it's been very nice. So this week really doesn't look like anything too special. There's some rain Wednesday, Thursday, most likely. Probably not going to be much severe weather. If it is severe weather, it's going to be very isolated. And then really not much. Just your normal summertime thunderstorms, could see an isolated severe one. No like big time severe weather events anytime soon. You're going to be chilling, totally chilling tomorrow, which is Monday. You're only going to have a high of like 95, 96 degrees Fahrenheit as a high. Tuesday, it's going to be 100 as a high, so seems like fun. But hey, Thursday cools off a lot. A lot cooler Thursday, a lot cooler Friday, Saturday, a lot cooler. A little bit warmer on Sunday, but really much of those days should be low 80s as a high. Thursday, you're looking at potentially low 70s as a high on Thursday. So Thursday, Friday going to be very nice. Saturday could be a little hotter. Sunday could be pushing 80s again. Monday could be pushing 80s. And then going into next week, likely also going to be pushing 80s. So really in the next couple days, tomorrow and Tuesday are the hottest days. Wednesday's still going to be hot. And then after Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and all the way as far as I can see, should cool down. And then I'm sure we'll have another heat wave in the middle of August. Probably. I do have a Spout Network account, but I don't use it anymore. Let's see here. Apparently there's a wall cloud on this now, yet again, just east of Watertown. So if you're in Watertown, still be seeking shelter. Area of rotation is now passing over the I-29 corridor, where I-29 and Highway 212 intersect there. So make sure you are in your safe spot. Alta, Iowa, you're probably fine. Yeah, you're in a marginal. You're far enough south. There is still the chance for the isolated wind gusts tonight if storms make it that far south. If they don't, then you're not going to see much at all. I mean, there's a chance you don't even get rain tonight. I don't think you're going to get anything. But if you do get something, it will be towards probably like 6 a.m. Central tomorrow morning. And then there's a chance for some severe storms tomorrow night as well. But it looks like those are probably going to stay north of you. So it seems like everything's going to stay to your north as well as to your northeast. All right, there's a new severe for 30 minutes. So this storm's moving pretty fast. Moving pretty fast east at 45 miles per hour. That's pretty normal. So if you're in Plymouth, Maple Grove, West Metro of Minneapolis, you got about 30 minutes before this storm gets to you. Downtown Minneapolis, about 45 minutes. The northern side of Minneapolis, like near Oak Grove, we'll have to see. The worst of this storm's probably going to miss you to the south. But man, is there ever a big outflow boundary that got released. Look at this loop. Look at the boundary that got released from this thing. Definitely a big boundary right in here. Updated tornado warning. Still radar indicated there for Buffalo in Minnesota. This radar is so corrupted. Let me go look at Connor's feed here. Dude's aiming at the sunshine right now. Let me go back a bit. I see maybe a little rotation and a lot of scud. I mean, well, we'll wait and see. See if we get any reports here. Right now, it seems like this is still trying its best to just remain as mainly a hailer and 60-mile-an-hour wind threat. The rotation, in my opinion, this is still looking mainly mid and upper level, not really getting to the lower level yet. Still could try to produce a tornado here, but I think it's going to take a little longer again. Just not trusting the radar much. Not trusting the radar much at all. We are almost 7,000 feet away in terms of the beam height. I mean, that did just get stronger too. It's definitely rotating in the upper level, but I'm not seeing it down in the lower level or near the surface on any chaser feeds. Yeah, they keep it radar indicated. Very obvious. Also, actually didn't even think about this till just now, which is crazy. The reason why I'm probably not seeing this on any chaser feeds is because it's so rain wrapped. So, it might actually be rapidly rotating towards the surface and just simply no chasers can see it because of all the precipitation. I actually, somehow that didn't cross my mind till right now on why none of these chasers are seeing it. I still think it's going to take a little bit longer, Sam. But, yeah, that area of rotation is getting tighter. If it ramps up anymore, it's definitely going to be very, very close to putting down a tornado. It's probably pretty close to putting a tornado down at the moment. I mean, really, with how good that rotation is in the upper levels, it's probably trying its best to produce a tornado. We'll have to see if we get any visual on that. I mean, just be in your safe spot. This very, very easily could be a tornado ongoing. Back up in Canada, nothing too crazy rotation-wise. Just a crazy line happening here. Crazy line happening here. I don't know if the warnings are glitched, but according to this, there's no longer a SVA or any severe thunderstorm warnings in effect up here. It's just tornado warnings. That might be a bug. There is either barely any rotation here, or there's a tornado on the ground. Like, really, it's just that radar imagery is either fully corrupted and there's barely any rotation, there's nothing happening at all, or that's correct and there's a tornado either close to or possibly on the ground. And that's impossible to say which one is which until we get a visual on it. Just put another severe on it for 2-inch hail, 70-mile-an-hour winds. Both of those are radar indicated. Tor possible tag also remains. I mean, see, now this looks like this is horrible. I hate doing analyses from far radar sites. I hate it. Because 1 second you think there's a tornado about to be on the ground, and then the next second you're like, okay, never mind, there's like probably nothing there. And now I'm moved more towards this is probably not doing much, because the position of that is just not good at all. Even the chasers are saying it's so weird. Like, this is not a good place for a tornado. This is not where a tornado typically happens. So, might want to keep an eye down here for a new area of rotation eventually. Because there's your boundary. Your boundary's right there. That's where your boundary is. So, I'd keep an eye down here for the potential of a new area of rotation. And this might just be complete corruption now. It's just impossible to say. It really is. The NWS warned it just in case. So if there is somehow a tornado out of this, it's going to be very, very rain-wrapped. So you won't be able to see it whatsoever. So make sure you're in your safe spot. Any other supercells back out here doing anything? Radars. Well, yeah, radar coverage is absolutely terrible out here, but I was going to say models handled this portion of the event horrible. But yeah, radar coverage stinks. Yo, where's the... Dude, no way. This is where our event is taking place, right in here. And the only radar we have that is okay is back out here for this area of radar coverage. We don't have any good radars for this entire portion of our event. All of this is a radar hole. Dude. Literally, this is absolutely perfect for an event completely hidden by radar holes. Like, there's just no good radar here. We have Sioux Falls, which is way too far. We have Aberdeen, which is way too far. Theaford, Nebraska, which is really, really far. A weird little thing right there. I don't know what's happening with that. Land spout tornadoes. Yeah, that's a special weather statement for a land spout tornado. So we could see a tornado out here. Just barely west of Highway 83 in Nebraska. Gonna keep an eye on that little tiny thing right there near Greenfield, but I still don't see any good areas of rotation here on this tornado warning. I never have seen any good areas of rotation. That little notch doesn't look legit. A lot more severes, though. This just went severe, too. See, now, that's impossible to look at that. That's what corruption looks like, and you can see that, I mean, a very similar signature to corruption. That's why we've had a hard time figuring out if this area of rotation is legit. All this stuff is just ordinary 1-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds. So still the main storm is one going through Watertown. Still tornado warned. Also severe warned for 2-inch hail, 70-mile-an-hour winds to our possible tag. Still watching near that boundary for the potential of another area of rotation to form too, just to the south of Watertown in South Dakota. Still, both of these warnings are radar indicated. Both tornado warnings still radar indicated. Let's see. Okay. I take a look at the environment. We're about to get a new mesoanalysis here in literally like any second. SPC, South Dakota, Nebraska. I can't tell if this is the new mesoanalysis because mesoanalysis is bugged. That's always fun. $20 VTP is crazy. Yeah, you don't have, actually, you do have a lot of lower level wind shear now, so if this can just stay discreet, there's really nothing stopping it from trying to produce another tornado. But the problem is it's starting to be more messy, more clustered. So, also that tornado warning in Greenfield, Minnesota will be allowed to expire in 2 minutes. So really, still the main area to watch is just this storm right in this area as it moves off to the south-southeast, right in here. And not too sure why they issued this severe thunderstorm watch, because there's been nothing up here. There's been absolutely nothing in this area. We have some thunder now that is starting to fire on the north side of that severe watch, but we haven't had a single special weather statement or severe warning in that ever since the watch was issued. That is... There you go. There's your new scan. Probably not legit rotation right there. And then look at this surge. That is a wild surge. This is back in Ontario, Canada. Look at that ridiculous surge right there. Absolutely wild surging of your bow echo. So easily 60 to 70 mile an hour winds here. Not too sure why it's not severe warned. That has got to be I mean, what's the severe warning criteria? Isn't it still the same? They don't even mention it. I would seriously think that'd be severe warned right now. Out of any of these storms in Canada, this is probably the most severe because you have that rear inflow jet that is surging very rapidly behind it, enhancing damaging winds. Very sharp, very, very sharp bow echo. You can even see the notch up here, which indicates that rear inflow jet behind it. Definitely 60 to 70 mile an hour winds along this line, but not severe. Environmental of Canada, or whatever that service is called. They think they're the National Weather Service over here. Forgetting to issue warnings. Speaking of that, actually, in all seriousness, the Environmental Service of Canada, or whatever it's called, I apologize, I don't know what it means. I don't know what it's called. But there was a report of a tornado, multiple reports of a tornado sometime this week. It might have been the day before yesterday. Multiple reports of a tornado in southwest Ontario or southeast Ontario. And there was no tornado warning. They didn't issue the tornado warning until 45 minutes later. So they literally were receiving multiple tornado reports. And then 45 minutes after those reports, they issued a tornado warning. It was yesterday. The days are going by so fast. Days are going by so fast I can't keep track. So now I just assume that it's always the day before. But yeah. Now we play the waiting game. I think the greatest threat for severe weather for the rest of the day is going to be focused with this as it moves off to the southeast. The HRRR wants a borderline derecho tonight. I just don't see that happening at all, but yeah, like, this stuff slowly strengthens over the next 2 hours, and then it starts to weaken at midnight. But for some reason, at 1 to 2 a.m., the HRRR re-intensifies the entire line, and it stays as a severe worthy line until 8 a.m. So literally, the HRRR thinks that this is just going to stay severe for legit the next 10 to 12 hours. The good news is most likely it will be just damaging winds of 60 miles per hour. So, we won't have to worry about much of a tornado threat or huge hail threat. The bad news is it could still be 60 mile per hour winds. It doesn't look like wind gusts are going to exceed really 80 miles per hour with that line. So we could still see a gust of 70 to 80 in this area. Throughout the rest of the day and into the overnight hours, and really into Iowa. That's where things are questionable. Some models completely destroy the line, like the older HRRR runs, and then newer models like the HRRR and the NAM3K most recent runs don't kill the line at all. Which, if I had to be honest with you, which I try my best to be, I think I agree with this being a long-lived line. Because we have so much instability that I think this could just continue to push off to the southeast and just continue to be a windbag. Now, I don't know about the hail threat. I think the hail threat's the most uncertain. The tornado threat probably won't be that crazy. So I'm thinking 60, quite widespread, 60 to 70 mile an hour winds throughout much of this area over the next few hours, at least the next 6 hours, possibly as much as 12 hours. And then our greatest tornado threat will be focused just with this supercell over like the next hour. So we're going to stay live. We're going to be live here for a bit longer. We're going to stay live till a bit after 9 so we can see the new SPC outlook. See if they introduce a slight risk downstream for that damaging wind potential. And then we'll probably head off. Let's see. When did we start? 6:30? Okay. Got 3 weeks before. Oh, can't say it. Before you are imprisoned for another, what, 8 to 10 months? How long does can't say it last? A specific type of year. I think it's it depends on what building you go to. Normally for us here it's like 9 months. Yeah, exactly. Like Legacy just said, 9 months. Depends on when you start and stop summer. Also, downdraft cape is very high too. I think we could be looking at a serious 60-mile-an-hour wind threat with the potential for isolated 70-mile-an-hour winds and maybe even a gust of up to 80. So widespread 50 to 60-mile-an-hour winds, couple gusts of 70, possibly even a gust up to 80 should be possible with this. And I do think that's going to keep going. Let's see. They have that enhanced risk goes pretty far south. So yeah, I mean, it's going to keep on going like this general direction in here. But the HRRR and the NAM3K both say that it's going to survive all the way until like the edge of that marginal, almost into Missouri and Illinois. Let me show you actually. There you go. You can see it surges it to the south-southeast. Still severe. Well into Iowa. Moves a bit more southeast and then moves into Missouri, Illinois. And then it doesn't fully die out until like 7 a.m. 7, 8 a.m. So, I mean, yeah, that's through this entire risk region here. You can go see over here. I don't think I heard any thunder. I think that was somebody in my house. For a second, I thought I heard some thunder. That lightning's too far north for me to hear. I think. What, that's probably a good 20, 25 miles. Lucky's got a severe to his west. I don't think we're going to be dealing with anything tornadic for the next for the rest of this event. I think we could see a brief tornado or two still out of nowhere, like embedded in a cluster or a line, but any well-organized tornado threat like what we had earlier, I don't think is going to happen again. I wouldn't rule out a strong tornado threat with this storm in Watertown, moving south Watertown now, but I don't think it's going to happen. I wouldn't fully rule it out. I just doubt it at this point. Wouldn't rule it out, but I don't anticipate it. New mesoscale discussion. 70 to 80 mile an hour winds. New watch may be needed further into Iowa. A brief tornado will be possible, so not confident on that tornado threat at all. So, again, we could see a brief tornado or two for the rest of the day into the night hours here. But an organized tornado threat like where we just passed, we had 4 tornado warnings at one point. I don't expect something like that again. I think we could see a brief tornado or two. Any strong tornado threat today will the best chance for that will be out of that Watertown supercell. Did I disconnect for a second? I got very distracted. Yep, I disconnected for 4 seconds. Precisely 4 seconds. Nope, it wasn't you, Legacy. I got the error on my end. I will take a 4-second disconnection. Normally, if I disconnect, my Wi-Fi completely goes out, and then I'm not able to stream again. So, you're good, Legacy. You know, sometimes chats are faster on other live streams. Sometimes they're very slow. Just depends. So we're going to keep seeing 60-mile-an-hour winds being possible here for the next several hours. Probably well into Iowa. Again, tornado threat for the rest of the day into the night hours is going to be very isolated. We could see a brief tornado or two. If we do see a strong tornado today, I feel like the best chances out of this storm in Watertown, although I don't find it being likely at this point. The outflow boundary looks to be surging in front of that little notch, so I don't think we're going to see another strong tornado out of that storm for today. I just wouldn't fully rule it out. And still wouldn't be ruling out a land spout with this storm along Highway 83 in Nebraska. Severe warning for 60-mile-an-hour winds, 1-inch hail. My power already went out today. I was about to start making a graphic for Twitter, and then my power went out. Thankfully, it went out before I started making the graphics, so I didn't lose any progress or anything. But my power already went out once today. Let me see how far... Oh my goodness. Dude, the newest HRRR initiates storms at 8 a.m. tomorrow in Montana. That's crazy. That's crazy. I hope that doesn't happen. Let's see. What's tomorrow's Monday? I'll definitely, like I said, I'm planning to cover tomorrow's event at least somewhat. I don't know if we'll be live as long as what we're live today, but we'll at least cover some of tomorrow. And then Wednesday, I'm not too sure what I'm going to do. And then Thursday, I know I have stuff I have to do. Oh, that's what's coming up Thursday. Yeah, I have something unrelated to weather on Thursday, but it looks like there might be a good chance for severe weather in my area on Thursday. So I'm going to keep an eye on that for I'm not going to say a chase stream, but maybe just a backyard quick video of a storm that I never upload. That's what I do to much of my severe risks. I just literally go outside, put my tripod outside, stand by it for an hour and a half, and then call it quits. I need a chase, though. I might, even if it's not the best setup, I might still just chase it. But it looks like I'll have a chance for severe weather on Thursday. I'll be very busy in the morning, the early afternoon, and then hopefully I'll be able to chase, if it looks good enough, in the late afternoon into the evening. So just to reiterate, once this live stream's done, I'll be live covering tomorrow's event, probably definitely after 2:30 Eastern. I know that for a fact. I will not be live before 2:30 Eastern by any means. So I'll be live sometime between 3 and 8 p.m. tomorrow because I have no idea what storms are going to do. Some models have storms firing at 7 o'clock. Some models have them firing at literally 8 a.m. Some models have them firing at 4 p.m. So I'll just be live when I'm live tomorrow. And then Wednesday, what is that? Is that still marginal, or did they upgrade that? They kept it marginal. That's probably going to end up going day 1 slight for damaging winds. Probably in Nebraska, South Dakota, Wyoming. Thank you guys for 10,000 subscribers for the 5th time, because YouTube wants to keep deleting bots. YouTube did a huge bot clearing the day we hit 10,000 subs. Literally. Like, they cleared out 25 subs on my channel, and other people's channels lost subscribers too. We hit it before the end of July. I marked it as July 17th. Even though literally moments after we went right back down because of that dumb old bot clearing, but that's what I have marked as 10K anniversary. Still going to keep an eye on this storm in Watertown. It's got a bit of a notch to it, but the outflow boundary is still surged in front, so it still has the chance to produce a tornado in the future, just imminently doesn't seem likely. Yikes. That bow echo in Canada is insane. I gotta go back to radar here. They still have it tornado warned for another hour and a half, almost hour and a half. Further south, looks like things have gotten a lot messier, but still could see a tornado or two form further south. Overall, the outlook I made on Twitter earlier this afternoon has performed absolutely perfectly. Northern side of the outlook out there, this portion of the outlook, I agreed with the SBC and I put that on my outlook as well. Hasn't performed at all, but you ain't gonna get everything right. But the two main areas I highlighted was back out here in Minnesota, and then I also had another highlight back up here. I'm probably going to do a quick little update on Twitter after I'm done this stream, if I remember. And it seems like we just got a new tornado warning. Oh, hey, what's up, Nebraska? Oh, man, that's on the ground. Yeah, so land spout was unwarned, now currently warned. So we're going to actually switch to the confirmed scene for that one. So we got a land spout on the ground. We've been talking about this storm ever since I barely noticed it. We were just going through a bunch of storms. We noticed that this special weather statement, which was issued 30, 40 some minutes ago when we first pointed it out, was noted for a land spout potential. And then we kept checking back with this storm. Looks like it's currently producing a land spout here, barely west of Highway 83 in Nebraska. So make sure you're in your safe spot. There's only 6 people out here, but that's 6 people who need to be seeking shelter. This is well south of Is that Valentine? Might be how you pronounce that. Or Valentine. I know it's pronounced differently, Valentine. There's so many different ways you can pronounce it. This looks like Valentine to me. So it's in between Valentine, well south of Valentine, and well north of Brownlee in Nebraska. If you're from Valentine, you know exactly the town name I'm trying to say. There you go, right there. Let's see. Maybe Valentine. I'm going to go with Valentine. Yeah. We'll go with Valentine. That seems most probable to be correct. Yeah, tornado on the ground here. Land spout, tornado on the ground. Right in here. West of Highway 83 still. Yeah, so this is going to be the portion of our line that tries to stay 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts for the rest of the day into the night hours. Going to try to make its way into Iowa over the next couple hours, and I don't think that's orientated correctly. It's more like this. There you go. So 60-mile-an-hour winds will be likely for the next couple hours across this area, moving from northwest to southeast. Could see a few gusts of 70 miles per hour, and I wouldn't fully rule out the gusts up to 80. I would not fully rule out a gust up to 80 tonight. The HRRR, for what it's worth, which you shouldn't take too seriously, but it has the max wind gust being about 75 miles per hour tonight. And it has that being at about midnight Eastern, so about 3.5 hours. Yeah, Connor has a view of this, and it is elevated. Like, this looks like a hook echo that's trying to rotate right now, but from a chaser POV, from actually a ground point of view, it looks super elevated. Like, it's not going to do a thing tornadic-wise elevated. So we'll still watch that again if there is going to be like a good tornado threat tonight that's not just random out of a crazy QLCS or MCS or something. It would be out of this storm. If we have a good, proper, supercellular tornado that could possibly be, a strong tornado tonight, I'd imagine it's going to come from this storm in the best environment near Watertown moving southeast. Thing's been in Watertown for the last 2 hours. I swear, we've been talking about Watertown for the entire live stream. Oh. Well, there you go. There's your tornado warning. So we'll see if this can try to produce again or not. Little surprised they warned that, because it's very elevated at the moment. I did not expect that to be warned now. I was just thinking, once we get towards 10 o'clock, this would have a better chance. Once the sun fully sets and the temperatures come down, this gets a bit better chance of being surface-based. But nope. Looks like it's tornadic right now. So, be in your safe spot there. Now tornado warned. For Castlewood. Castlewood, just south of Watertown, near the I-29 corridor in eastern South Dakota. We will be live for the entire duration of this tornado warning too. Like I said, I'm not going anywhere until after 9 Eastern. So, yeah, still a confirmed land spout here. Probably no longer on the ground, but it is still observed just to the west of Highway 83, heading towards Highway 83. Again, in between Valentine. Is that what I decided on? I already forgot. Valentine. Between Valentine and where's that other town? Brownlee. Out here in north central Nebraska. That's where we have a land spout ongoing. We have another tornado trying to develop in this area here, south of Watertown, barely west of the I-29 corridor in east central South Dakota. That rotation is fully corruption, for those wondering. It is very, very, very clearly drawn out, very clearly in the clear slot. Your whole clear slot actually is right in here. Actually, might even be bigger than that. Just your general approximation of your clear slot right in here. So that is fully corrupted rotation. There's chasers on this, and they don't have pretty much. There's pretty much no rotation. It's very, very minimal rotation. Let's see here. This isn't confirmed. No, this is confirmed. Land spout is observed in Nebraska, which probably is no longer on the ground. And that rotation here back out in South Dakota is corrupted, so I know it's not rotating that much. I mean, it's rotating a little bit, but I don't think it's imminent at all. It's very broad rotation and very, very weak. I can see it's rotating a bit better now. A little bit better, but it's still super weak and, in my opinion, not even close to imminent. But being your safe spot, it is tornado 1, which means a tornado is imminent. It's definitely not on the ground because we have chasers looking directly at it. That rotation is slowly becoming better organized. So it's not imminent at this moment, according to chaser feeds. It doesn't look like it's going to produce at the moment, but give it a couple more minutes and this might actually try to produce. That rotation's kicked up a lot over the last 5 minutes here. Not talking about radar, talking about chaser feeds. Because on radar, that's just fully corrupted. It's still broad, but it's strengthened a bit more. Oh, man. Sneeze. Excuse me. I'm probably going to lose power. This thing's got its own outflow boundary. I'm in a special weather statement for 40 mile an hour winds. To see if that's going to knock out my power again. I think I was already in a special weather statement for either 40 or 50 mile an hour winds earlier today. It was either 40 or 50. I forgot. Yeah, so this is continuing to try its best to rotate. I still don't see it. Let's see here. Yeah, it's still rotating weakly. Very broad, very weak. Just being your safe spot, this could intensify to the point where it gets very close to or possibly even drops a tornado in the future. And I just already heard some thunder. Already heard thunder. Man. I heard that one from far away. If it could just hold off for like 30 minutes or something, maybe even 45 minutes, just give it a little time. In 15 minutes, we get the new SPC outlook. In 30 minutes, we get the new mesoanalysis. And in 45 minutes, I'm probably going to conclude. Yes, no, not southeastern Virginia, south central. It's technically south central. These severes are still warned for 60-mile-an-hour winds. Staying pretty small for hail, about 1 to 1.5 inch in diameter hail. Yeah, so it's like Connor just said it too. It's like it looks completely outflow dominant, but there's a little area where it's rotating very weak and is, trying its best to rotate rapidly, but ultimately it's just a broad weak area of rotation. So it's got a lot of strengthening to do if it wants to produce a tornado. Just be in your safe spot. No tornado on the ground right now. Right now, it's mainly 60-mile-an-hour winds, 1 to 1.5 inch hail, and we could see a tornado develop here if it strengthens over the next few minutes. But like I said, it's got a lot of strengthening to do. It's still weak and broad. Wait, what? Yo. Ain't nobody told me about this. We had an unwarned tornado in Virginia, my state. Let's see, where was this? This was in, southeastern Virginia. So not close to me. But still, it was an unwarned tornado today. This was about hour 25 minutes ago. Southeastern VA. Looks like it was probably about southeast of Wakefield. I have to look at that a bit closer. Definitely a probable tornado debris signature. Looks pretty strong too. I mean, it had a good CC drop, good velocity couplet of just basing it off of the, I don't have the gate to gate of it, but probably a 70, 80 mile an hour rotation. So, had an unwarned tornado in Virginia. I believe we were focusing on the storm, that big tornado. It was PDS warned here near Watertown, just northwest of Watertown, as that tornado in Virginia went unwarned. Might be getting a little bit better here. I'm starting to see a bit more. Gotta refresh. Starting to see a little bit more of a notch develop here. The last few scans have really just been, this, where it's kind of flat like that. But on this newest one, it's got possibly a little bit of notching trying to go on here. Still no good rotation on radar, but that's because radar's far. Chasers still say it doesn't look imminent, so. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look imminent, but you're still in a tornado warning, so you want to be in your safe spot because a tornado warning means a tornado is imminent. So it looks like the area of rotation is still broad enough to where chasers aren't very concerned about it, but that could turn from a broad area of rotation to a strong area of rotation very quickly. Especially with a good environment we have. Maybe trying, but it ain't trying too well. Also, if you are in Minneapolis, 1-inch hail has been observed with 60-mile-an-hour winds being possible moving through downtown Minneapolis, Minnesota right now. So make sure you're away from doors and windows, and you'll be good. Just stay away from doors and windows. Tornado threat is near zero with those storms. How's Canada doing here? We're in a little radar hole here in Canada. But it looks like things have turned very linear, so the main tornado threat in Canada is probably done. I still could see a spin-up tornado or two, but mainly we're just looking at a crazy line of 60 to 70 mile-an-hour winds. Wouldn't rule out an 80 mile-an-hour wind gust, especially where that rear inflow jet is really pushing along the bow echo here in southwest Ontario. There's your tornado report. Fire department / rescues reported a land spout tornado at 8:33 Eastern. I believe they just updated this warning. They updated one of these warnings. Alright, we are now down to radar indicated, so we'll switch to this scene. So no longer land spout on the ground there in Nebraska. Population of that tornado warning is literally one. One person in that tornado warning. Back out in Nebraska. Alright, SPC outlook comes out here in about 9 minutes. We'll get that day one outlook. I don't expect them to change an absurd amount. I think the biggest change that I'm expecting, and I'd be a little surprised if it doesn't happen, but there's still a chance they don't do it. In my opinion, they should. Is the removal of the entire slight risk and enhanced risk in this area. Right in there. Maybe even the removal of the enhanced and the slight in this entire region. I really think they should drop this entire area down to marginal. And I think they should keep... Let's see. We'll go with blue. I think they should keep this portion of our... A little bit too far. This portion of our slight risk and enhanced risk right in here. Maybe a small extension of the slight risk to the south. But the biggest thing I'm thinking we'll see is the removal of the slight and the enhanced further up north. We shall see. And I don't know about that 5% tornado risk. Personally, I think they should drop the entire 5% and just leave a pretty good size 2%, but they might leave a small 5% out in southwest Minnesota, southeast, or rather east central South Dakota. Yeah. I mean, I don't really know what to think about this storm. The environment is still good. But it's turned into a big linear blob, so there's a chance it tries again here. Yeah, sometime tonight. I don't want to give you an exact time frame because I have no idea, but sometime tonight there's a chance it tries again. I think it's cooked right now. I don't think they removed that. I think that's a glitch. Yeah, that was a glitch. Yeah, but I think it's cooked right now. I don't think it's going to be producing a tornado. I really don't think this has been capable of producing a tornado. Ever since, I mean, probably even this one was probably corruption. I don't think either one of these tornado warnings were actually legit in terms of good rotation. I think the only time this was capable of producing a tornado was the one time it produced a tornado. And the other two warnings we got on this thing was literally probably just corruption with weak areas of spin. Sure, there was a small area of rotation and a rotating wall cloud with this one. And then on this newest one, still in effect, there was a very small area of rotation, but A wall cloud doesn't immediately warrant a tornado warning. Just because there's a wall cloud doesn't mean there's going to be a tornado warning on a storm. I've seen an absurd amount of wall clouds or wall cloud reports without tornado warnings, because wall clouds, some of them can be very, very brief, very quick. I've seen like 4 wall clouds in my chasing career so far, and only one of them lasted more than 10 minutes. Although we don't get good storms here in Virginia and North Carolina. Okay, there we go. Alright, I'm going to move this real quick. Let's see. Chasers are saying we're starting to get very linear. I agree. Okay. Oh, my bad. Let me bring Weatherwise back. Use Sam BV for velocity. That color palette is ugly, not gonna lie. Well, Bond, I hate to break the news to you, bud. This is Sam BV. I hate to tell you, but it is literally Sam BV. That's literally the color table for velocity I have used for the last 2 years. I think 2 years, ever since 2023. Maybe, I don't know. Definitely since 2023. Maybe even before that. I honestly can't remember much of anything in life before 2023, to be honest with you. 2023 is where my memory started, apparently. This is, I know this one is Sam BV. And this one is Storm Relative Velocity. It's a different, I don't know if it's a different one, but and this one is, I have no idea. I don't know, because I haven't used this one in forever. Oh, this one's default. This is default. So I know this one's not Sam BV. I know this one definitely is. And then I don't know what this is, because this one, GR2 analysis doesn't let you know which one you use. So I don't know what this one is. Well, actually, it might. I think it actually does, but I kind of don't want to pull it up right here. I think I can actually do this. I'm not going to risk it. I don't know. I don't know what velocity it is. But I don't use the radar omega velocity too often, so. Let me see if I have it, and if I already have it in here, I'll switch it real quick. I don't, so I'm not gonna go out of my way to switch the velocity color table for something that I only use a couple minutes in stream. Yeah, I know you could customize it, it's just I don't have it in, so I'm not gonna bother. Alright, tornado warning in Nebraska was dropped. I think GR2 does show you it, it's just it pulls up the files. And I'm not too sure exactly how many of the files it's going to show. One bottle of water down. I'm a little slacking. I'm supposed to do a bottle of water every 2 hours. I'm 30 minutes late on that one. I did not sound like a bottle of water, but I promise you it was. I'm not lucky. Should get the new SPC outlook at any second here. If not, I might have already missed it. Still no SPC outlook yet. Dude, why? Why couldn't you happen like 3 hours ago? Or like sometime in the day? Why at 9 o'clock at night? I think it still might be a little day out there. Come here. Oh no, it's not day. No, it's not day. What did he say? Okay. Trying to figure out what name this chaser just said. All right. Well, we're still gonna watch this tornado warning, wait for it to expire. We're gonna look at the SPC outlook, check mesoanalysis, and then after all that, I'll do a quick update on everything, and then we'll end. So we still got a little while to go here. Just a little bit longer. We're down to just a couple severes here. Let's see. 12 severes, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those are in Canada. So we actually only have, 7 here in the US? And 2 of those are significant. They actually just upgraded this one. So now observed 1.75-inch hail moving into Minneapolis, Minnesota. So make sure you are indoors, away from doors and windows, close to your safe spot if you're in Minneapolis. And if the hail seems a bit too big, it's best to go to your safe spot here. Well, there's not a lot to talk about with the future forecast. So tomorrow is really the only other solid day for severe weather. And Wednesday, we could see some isolated 67 mile-an-hour wind gusts in western Nebraska, but nothing that's probably going to warrant a coverage stream. And our new info will be rendering in here shortly for tomorrow. 0ZH And tropics are still inactive. Despite what some YouTubers are saying, tropics are still inactive out there in the Atlantic. Very active EPAC right now, though, in Central Pacific. I'm supposed to get a tropical storm tonight and tomorrow out there in the Central Pacific, and then potentially even a tropical storm in the EPAC here in about 4 days or so. So possibly 2 named storms, one in the eastern, one in the Central Pacific. And then there's another AOI that has a 40% chance of developing there in the Central Pacific as well. And the Atlantic has a nothing. We are still inactive in the Atlantic. Watching in, not an AOI, but just an area to keep an eye on out there in the, coming off of Africa, moving into the main development region. There's a little blob of convection to keep an eye on. Could get an AOI in the future, but nothing crazy. There's nothing that I could do a deep dive into. Like I said, we're going to get our information on tomorrow. We get a new run here over the next couple minutes. It's rendering in now. There's the SPC outlook. Okay, so they did the first thing I mentioned, which was they dropped portions of it. So they dropped just this portion of the slight risk and the enhanced. So they decided, which is a little strange, they decided not to drop any of the slight out in Wisconsin. So the slight risk still remains out there in Wisconsin, and they may have... No, they did. They expanded the enhanced into the tiniest sliver of Wisconsin as well. And they did keep a small 5% tornado risk like I was talking about. They kept a very small 5%, like right in here. Kept a small 5% for these storms right in this area. And then everything else is a 2%. They expanded that 2% all the way down into Nebraska. Wind probability, they still kept at 30%. Hail probability is no longer significant, dropped it down to 15%. I will show you all that outlook shortly because it's going to be... should be pretty quick before we get that. Yep, there it is. Faster today. So 5% tornado risk remains in effect for those few supercells embedded inside of a line. Still big 30% for the potential of widespread 60 to 70 mile an hour wind gust, possibly even a gust upwards of 80. They did not expand that into any further into Iowa. Halo risk was dropped back down to 15%. Tropics, by the way, just a quick update on that. 40% there in the Central Pacific, 70% there in the Eastern Pacific, and a tropical storm is expected to form into the overnight hours into tomorrow morning in the Central Pacific as well. Atlantic is dead quiet. Dang it, dead inactive. I said the Q word. It is inactive. And no longer any tornado warnings in effect. So there you go. Good night, Proxy. I won't be live for too much longer, so you ain't gonna miss much. And no longer a tornado warning anymore, so you're good. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Dude. Somebody on Twitter made a crazy typo. Oh, that's great. That just made my day right there. I gotta go. I'm gonna go send that to Lucky. Dude, that's awesome. Oh man. Oops. That's great. But yeah, Lucky, just to update on Lucky for those who may be wondering where he is, he's like disappeared off the face of the earth or something. I don't know. Nah, he's just really been doing all types of stuff. I don't want to get into everything he's been doing. We'll be here all day. But he's alive and probably won't have any weather content anytime soon. He sent me DMs saying, I'll start up weather content soon. Yeah, he'll start up weather content probably in the next year or two. But not in like the next month, I'd imagine. He's almost at 4 months since his last video. And his last live stream has to be near 2 months. Yeah, It's at like August 9th will be its 2-month anniversary. So it's not doing a live stream. Man. I couldn't do that. Like, honestly, I don't think I could just not do a weather live stream for a month and a half and leave you guys hanging like that. Like, 5 days, that's about as long as I can go. After 5 days, I'm like, I gotta stream. I gotta update them. At least talk about the temperatures or something. I gotta at least let them know about the weather. Like, 5 days is about as long of a break as I can really take. After that, I have to start forcing myself to stay away from the weather. I did a 3.5 day break over this weekend. There isn't a day 4 outlook. There is day 4, but we don't have a day 4 outlook highlighted. But there is a possibility of a 15% or 30% on a day 4 outlook. It's just we don't have one. Let's see. Do you see Newark, Ohio getting a severe weather outbreak on Wednesday? Severe weather outbreak? Depends on your definition. If a severe weather outbreak is, 5 severe storms. Let me go see. Wednesday? So today's Sunday. Yeah, so that would be day 4. That's why you were talking about day 4. Nothing's loading. My computer's exploding. Crap, nothing's loading, man. I can't tell you. Dang it. Let me see. I'll do my best. I think I could still load this. Okay, this still works. Wednesday. Man, so little information. I don't think it will be anything like a good severe weather outbreak, but there's going to be the possibility for a couple strong to isolated severe storms. But I can't give you anything more than that. Everything else is for some reason not loading on my end. Also, we don't have any like really good models, and a lot of these upcoming days are mesoscale days, including today was too, which means we really won't know a lot until day of. Small little shifts in the forecast are going to happen. Like literally yesterday we were thinking the main event was going to be up here. For the last 48 hours or so, yesterday and the day before that, we were thinking this was going to be the main area for potential of severe weather. And then this morning, and very late last night, all guidance shifted to down in here. So, just depends on the type of event and the month. But the pattern we're in, a lot of this stuff is mesoscale, so a lot of this stuff's gonna be shifting until storms really fire, and even then things still shift around. Very difficult to predict things with a pattern like what we're in. Hi, Lopez. Haven't seen you in here in a couple days. Totally not because I haven't been live streaming over the last 4 days. Totally not. Yeah, the HRRR still wants storms to fire at now. It's saying 5 a.m. I can guarantee I won't be live at 5 a.m. Tomorrow will probably be live. Like I said before, anywhere between like 2:30 and 8. Anytime between 2:30, it's difficult for me to do that because I like to get a lot of stuff done. I have a routine in the morning. I don't like to break that routine. Unless I have to. The HRRR is starting off very early tomorrow. Hopefully that doesn't happen. If it does, either way, tomorrow is not a huge tornado day. It's another mesoscale tornado day like today. We're not going to see no tornado outbreak tomorrow or something crazy. Now, I do think we could see a significant severe weather outbreak. I think there is the possibility of that. Worst case scenario, I think there is the possibility of, I'm going to go out on a limb, a derecho for tomorrow. I think that is a possibility. I don't think it's going to be like a tornado outbreak or anything like strong tornadoes or stuff like that, but I do think we could see a couple tornadoes. And if we get some crazy boundary interaction or something, I wouldn't fully rule out a brief, strong tornado. And I think we could also see 3-inch hail and 80-mile-an-hour winds. I wouldn't fully rule out 90-mile-an-hour winds if we're talking about that derecho threat, but there's a lot of uncertainty with that. Right now, the HRRR is definitely leaning towards a bit more of a MCS derecho threat. The newest model guidance has definitely shifted that direction. But there's a lot of uncertainty on tomorrow. Either we're going to wake up with the potential for a derecho, or we're going to wake up with mainly, clustered supercells with the isolated tornado threat, 2-3-inch hail, and 70-80 mile-an-hour winds. Either way, tomorrow's going to be a big day for severe weather. It's just a matter of if we see a messier clustered mode or if we get a full-blown derecho. Also, they just upgraded this severe to observed 1.75-inch hail. So now in a significant severe for Clear Lake in east central South Dakota. All right, but yeah, there's your tornado outlook as well. 2% extends back down there into Nebraska for the potential of a land spout tornado or two. But overall, quick update on what we'll see the rest of today. We're going to continue to see an intense QLCS, maybe even pushing at this point. Really could be pushing a derecho, to be honest, with this line, because this thing formed way back over here, and it's going to continue for at least the next, let me see, 3-4 hours out here in Canada. Very intense MCS to potentially even push in derecho qualification out there in Southwest Ontario out of this. We've been tracking that all day, so. But that's going to continue east with 70 to 80 mile-an-hour winds being possible. Back out here in the U.S., we'll have the isolated severe storm in this area. Probably not going to get much more than a severe storm or two. Potential for an isolated severe storm or two. And a weak land spout back out here in South Dakota, southern South Dakota, Nebraska, northern Nebraska. But the main severe threat in the U.S. is going to be focused right in this corridor here. Up until about midnight Eastern. After midnight, that's when there's some question marks on if this stuff's going to die out or not. If it doesn't die out at midnight, it's going to continue to produce widespread 60 to 70 mile-an-hour winds well into Iowa and then potentially all the way down into Wisconsin, Illinois, and Missouri, all the way up until it dies out towards 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. And that is also going to affect what happens tomorrow. So we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow until tonight's event is finished, which tonight's event won't be finished until 7, 8 a.m. tomorrow morning Eastern time. So really not going to have much information on tomorrow's risk in terms of specifics until today's event completely finishes, which will be tomorrow morning. But SBC outlook completely changed. This morning it was a very large marginal. Then in the, last night it was a large marginal. This morning they upgraded to a tiny slight risk over South Dakota, Southwest Minnesota. And then in the afternoon update, they upgraded Wisconsin, Iowa, much of Minnesota, much of South Dakota, North Dakota, even Wyoming, Montana, all got upgraded to a slight risk for severe weather. 2% tornado risk is still quite localized. Damaging winds is the biggest issue. They added that hatched risk for the potential of 80 mile-per-hour winds there in southern Minnesota, a good chunk of South Dakota into northern Iowa, and then also could see some large hail up to 2.5 inch in diameter. They'll probably eventually hatch that sometime in tomorrow's update. If not, we could still see 2 to 3 inch in diameter hail for tomorrow. So that's just a quick update on everything. Still wouldn't rule out a brief tornado tonight, but that strong tornado potential is completely gone. This storm in Clear Lake is done with really any tornado potential. Wouldn't fully rule out a brief tornado, overnight in this area, and same with a brief land spout tornado in this area. But overall, we're pretty much done for tornadic activity. The event is coming to a close. Pretty quick too, only a 3-hour. The main event only lasted about 2.5, 3 hours. But we're still going to see severe storms into the overnight hours. Let's see here. Tornado earlier near Watertown. Probably one of the most violent tornadoes we've seen this year. It definitely was violent. It was one of the most violent tornadoes of the year. Definitely wasn't the most, but one of the most violent. Definitely beat Gary. We had that was on the 28th of June, almost exactly a month ago. Almost exactly a month ago. Okay, there we go. Yep, I'm getting close to heading out, Bond. You can tell my tone has gone to that wrapping up voice. So yeah, we're getting pretty close to wrapping up. I'll just go ahead and do a quick. I'll do my outro now so that way I don't forget. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. We're gonna start ending here in a couple minutes. But if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. It's greatly appreciated. Make sure you share this channel and this stream with your family, friends, social media. It's really appreciated. Help spread this stream out to the YouTube algorithm. Even if you hit that like button after I end, it still helps spread out the stream for another 2 to 3 hours. Then it's considered old information, and YouTube typically stops spreading it after that. We'll be live tomorrow at some point. Just keep an eye on the channel. Make sure you have notification bell set to all so you know when I go live. Because we will be live at some point. If it's absolutely needed, I'll go live early. Like, if I'm talking like tornado outbreak underway type thing for me to go live before 3 p.m. Eastern time. If not, if we aren't seeing a tornado outbreak when I wake up, which I really think the HRRR is going to be dead wrong on us seeing a bunch of severe weather early in the morning, then I will see you guys between 3 and 8 p.m. That's a big window, but you know, there's a lot of uncertainty. Like I said, we really don't know what's going to happen tomorrow until today completely finishes. So, yeah, very well forecasted event today on the SPC's behalf. Northern side of the risk definitely did underperform. That was very iffy. Some models had it being a crazy event up there. Other models had nothing. And one of those other models was the HRRR. So the HRRR actually did fantastic today for once. It did really good. And it played out how we expected. You know, we had a brief tornado or two being possible out there in Minnesota. We had a couple tornado warnings. I think it was somewhere around 4 tornado warnings in Minnesota. And then we had our strong tornado in eastern South Dakota. And then our random landspout in Nebraska. That definitely was not predicted well. Nothing had a random landspout tornado in Nebraska. So we did have 70-mile-an-hour winds. We had a 70-mile-an-hour wind report. I think it was west, somewhere out in here. I don't know exactly where, but I know it was somewhere out in here. We had a 70-mile-an-hour wind report. We definitely had at least 2 to 2.5 inch hail. So we definitely could have hit a higher severe standpoint. You know, we didn't see any 80-mile-an-hour wind gust, and we didn't see 3+ inch hail, but it's still verified pretty well, in my opinion. Pretty well, other than the northern side of that risk. And then in Canada probably performed pretty well. I don't know how many tornadoes we got out there, but we had 3 tornadoes here, one in South Dakota, one in Minnesota, one in Nebraska, and then we had plenty of areas of rotations in southwestern Ontario. I don't know if they're going to survey that stuff, and that played out very well as well. So I appreciate everyone for tuning in once again. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my night. and I'll see you guys probably between 2 to what did I say? No, 3, not 2 o'clock. Between 3 and 8 p.m. tomorrow we'll be live. The HRRR wants a derecho tomorrow, full-fledged derecho. So, like I said, we're definitely going to be live tomorrow. I hope that the HRRR is wrong and we don't see much fire till later. The HRRR literally has 105 mile-an-hour wind gusts tomorrow in eastern South Dakota. So it literally has a full-fledged significant derecho in South Dakota tomorrow. With 100 to 105 mile-an-hour wind gusts. So that's absolutely insane. Hopefully that disappears on the next one here in 30 minutes. But anyways, again, I appreciate all you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night as well. Have a great rest of your Sunday night. Great. Tomorrow's Monday. And we're going to head over to the ending screen. I appreciate mods from on chat. Once again, thank you everyone for being here. And I will see you all sometime tomorrow. Thank you for 10,000 subscribers. We just hit, again, in this live stream, we hit 10K for like the 9th time or something. I'm counting it as the 17th of July was our 10K anniversary, because that's when we first hit it. And then it's been up and down ever since then, with YouTube deleting bots and then people resubscribing. So anyways, again, hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Let's see. When is the all-night gaming stream again? I don't know. Pez. Lucky's schedule is all over the place. I can't get him to answer any time frame. So I'm hoping early August, next week or so. We'll just see. Hopefully next week. I don't know. He doesn't give me a good time frame. But anyways, stay safe. Watch for your weather. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's live stream somewhere between 3 and 8 p.m. Eastern time. And have a great rest of your Sunday night. Once again, thank you, mods from on chat. And I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe. Watch for your weather. And I will see you later. Goodbye. Stay safe, watch the weather, and I'll see you guys in the next live stream, which will be tomorrow. Have a great rest of your Sunday night. Good.